Welcome to a special issue of the Dr. DC podcast. There was so much news that came from this year's San Diego Comic-Con that we needed to release an extra issue this week just to cover it all. Also, we've got a very special announcement that I don't think we can talk about right now.
No, we'll do it to the end.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end.
You have to listen through all this crap.
You have to listen to so much of us rehashing SDCC news.
Yeah.
I like how you guys both geeky jumped in on that, like, no, of course not.
Listen, there are things I want to talk about.
All right, we got news.
Yeah, jeez, oh, my glasses.
My nose is bleeding. Oh.
You guys suck. Let's move along. So in news, the Flash Season 4 trailer is out.
Oh, so we're going to have to watch that right now.
Yeah, so if you're listening at home, we're going to watch each of these things, but you won't hear us watching it. So follow along. Follow the bouncing ball at home.
Yes, listen for the tone, and then you can come back and listen to what we have to say about it, because we're going to make Colin watch it for the first time now.
That's right.
God, I'm bored already.
Immediate thoughts. Also, we're back.
Okay, so initial thoughts?
Yes.
It's like Forrest Gump advice meets Twilight and Supernatural in Japan.
Okay, what I will say is that
It's very accurate, and I just nailed the trailer.
This season 4 trailer really doubles down on the CW soap opera vibe.
Totally.
It's
absolutely.
not as representative of the show as maybe it could be, because they really go hard on like the soapy elements of it, but them missing Barry and trying to move on with their lives and things like
Yeah, I
that.
don't know if you've ever seen The Flash before, but every single beginning of every season is them talking about how much they miss Barry. So
Yeah, that's true. But in this particular instance, as Colin just saw,
Just run. Just don't stop running. And then you'll be across the whole country, and then you just keep running. Is he giving her like personal
just kept
training advice?
running and running.
yeah, I think he means
I
it
miss
more.
my Jenny. Dude, come on. Like, this is just like the opposite.
Oh God. Yeah, no,
Barry
so at the
is
end of season 3, spoiler alert, Barry has to sacrifice himself to the Speed Force in order to stop like extra dimensional energy from tearing the city apart.
So
Barry is trapped in the Speed Force right now. That's why they miss him. That's why he tells Iris to keep running and all that kind
Are
of
they
thing.
like jogging partners?
in life.
I know I'm going to be gone for a while, so keep up the regimen. Run twice a day. Just have fun with it. It's for fun.
Amazing.
Just mix it up. Try some Mumford & Sons and then some Prince. I don't know. Just mix it up.
Oh, God. Now, there are some things that Colin, as someone that doesn't watch the show, probably wouldn't have picked up on. Things I'm interested in. We see Caitlin Snow, not as Killer Frost.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
She shows up with Captain Cold's gun. That's kind of interesting. We see Kid Flash and Vibe kind of taking to the streets as Central City's heroes in the absence of the Flash. Which is also neat. Obviously, like Iris and Joe and them are missing Barry, but Iris seems to have put herself sort of in the position of kind of running Team Flash.
Because there is nobody who's the leader at this point, right?
Well, they have no
What's his name?
no Wells.
Yes.
Shouldn't Kid Flash kind of be stepping it up? I thought that was just some couple of dudes in costumes. Like, we'll pretend to be.
So they actually have powers. Yeah.
They are playing up the idea, especially not Kid Flash, but what's his name?
Vibe.
That character though, his not
Cisco. Yeah.
Cisco. He very much likes the idea of a superhero, and so when he tries to be a superhero, he tries to play his idea of what a superhero is. That's why it's very campy.
Yeah.
And
Did he also play a werewolf once in a vampire movie?
Maybe, but he kind of has that look.
he kind of looks like a very unfit version of him.
Yeah. And then the bit that we see at the end where Cisco says he's made some modifications, that's the Speed Force cannon they used against Savitar at the end of the 3rd season, and they're clearly going to use it to try and pull Barry out of the Speed Force, which is, that's a pretty standard kind of pilot trailer. I'm excited.
How do you
for
feel
it.
about it? Yeah, like
The thing I'm more excited about isn't in that trailer at all, which is the fact that the season 4 big bad finally is not a speedster. It's the Thinker. So the whole idea is that it's the world's fastest man against the world's fastest mind is the big thing with season 4. So this is a villain that is smarter at every possible turn, instead of just Barry having to like, oh, I'm not fast enough, and then like 13 episodes later it's like, oh, I'm fast enough. So it'll be
Yeah, for the last 3 seasons, yeah.
there's something a little bit more interesting in that. So that's what I'm excited about. That's not in that trailer, but I might imagine that samurai that we saw might be like an agent of the Thinker. He might be tied to that somehow. But
I'm really looking forward to watching the relationship between the main woman character and her father play out. I feel like that's going to be a really big one.
Iris and Joe? Yeah, actually, Iris and Joe typically have really good moments, because that guy that plays Joe West
He's an amazing actor.
is so good. He's like the heart and soul of that show.
You weren't doing anything weird when you said that, right?
No. I just mean like he's very stereotypical like father-in-law kind of vibe.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
that guy's a fucking idiot. Don't even go near that guy.
So in the context,
It gets way more complicated
in the context
than
of the show, because Barry's mother is murdered by the Reverse Flash, and then his father goes to prison for it. Barry is actually raised by Joe West, so like
God.
he grows up with Iris,
In love with her.
as like a foster brother
friend.
Yeah,
foster brother friend.
Yeah.
foster brother friend fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think there's too much more to say on that, but I'm pretty excited for that one.
Yeah, I fell off about the maybe first few episodes of season 3. I just like it got
Season 3 to me is better than season 2.
because it just got real complicated. I found that like the whole like
It doesn't get less complicated, but it is extremely entertaining.
the whole Flashpoint thing just became nuts.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and it was hard for me to track, but I need to go back.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on?
What's next?
Legends of Tomorrow trailer. Do I have to watch trailers for?
Oh yeah, we're watching.
Here we
all of
go.
these. Yeah. So this one I'm much more excited about because there's a whole lot to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
This is like Westworld meets Firefly.
That's
I've
pretty good.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed. That's pretty apt.
Yeah. So, Legends of Tomorrow. I'm
Way
just
more
going
excited
to
about this.
assume you haven't watched it.
Or have you even heard of it?
So, Legends of Tomorrow, the premise is that this kind of group of misfits.
It's actually a spin-off of The Flash.
Yeah, some are villains, some are heroes, but they are recruited by a time master named Rip Hunter, who we saw in that trailer, and they basically go through time to like fix temporal anomalies and like fight time bandits and things like that. Through the whole second season, they were actually fighting the Reverse Flash. Who was after
And no one's mom died?
yeah.
These guys are already
The
better than
Reverse Flash was trying to get the Spear of Destiny so that he could write himself back into existence because he was
Spear
of
Destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not that.
And then at the end of season 2, spoiler alert, the Legends break the only rule of time travel and they team up with themselves to beat him. And that's why we see that they quote unquote broke time. That's why there are like T-Rexes and flying ships like all in the same time era. So yeah, this season they have to deal with the consequences of that action. Billy Zane plays P.T. Barnum in the
He'll always be
trailer here.
Phantom to me.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he's the bad guy from Titanic.
No, Billy Zane will always be Zoolander's best friend.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, that's Billy Zane.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's right.
Owen Wilson says, "Listen to your buddy Billy Zane. He's a cool guy."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I messed the lineup, but essentially that's
Right.
what it is.
At any rate, he's in there. The thing that I was really excited about, I already posted about this on Facebook, but when you see the circus, there's one guy with like a red leather mask with like a leopard print like thing over the eyes, and that is straight up real talk Bwana Beast's costume. So if they introduce Bwana Beast, this like crazy obscure like character in this show, I'm gonna lose my mind. I love Bwana Beast.
That's a weird ass character.
It is. But he's got a great power. He can make like chimera, like he could fuse any two animals together into like a hybrid with the best of both.
Whoa.
Yeah. So if that is Bwana Beast and not just like a nod to the character, then I'm super excited.
That's really awesome. So have you been watching that show?
I have, yeah.
Because I watched the first episode and I just could not get it because none of the characters were like interesting enough to me.
I will say season 1 definitely suffers from that. Season 2, they found their stride a bit more. Season 1 is kind of hard to get through.
Yeah, it's just a lot of characters. It's not a lot of backstory, and it's like you better have known who they were and watched the Flash.
And that's part of it. Yeah, season 2 is a lot better for that. But yeah, it's a cool show because it's a team up and they go through different eras of time. They can throw in kind of characters from all over. Like the core team is like Heatwave and White Canary and Firestorm and the Atom and Vixen. But they've had Hawkman and Hawkgirl on the
Cold
team.
in the
Captain
first
Cold
season?
was, and then he died. He sacrificed himself at the end of season 1 for them.
Spoilers.
He has shown up again, but like through time travel, he's been plucked out of time before he was killed.
Okay.
But yeah, so Colin was excited about that. So
That's exciting to me.
I kind of, when that show comes out, I kind of want Colin to watch it. Like we'll sit down and watch it together because like, he's still smiling about it.
Yeah.
You like the dinosaurs, didn't you?
I like right out of the gates. I was like, "Oh, they got dinosaurs!" And the music was really ominous. And they're like, "Oh my god, guys, we broke time!" And
no, what are we gonna do?
Oh no, not again! And like, oh, the old rigmarole. No, whenever there's a show,
There was a Firefly vibe there. Yeah, I'll give
totally
him
a Firefly vibe.
Absolutely.
Like the whole like, yeah. And I really enjoyed Firefly.
Then I actually want to watch Legends of Tomorrow with Colin.
Of all of them, I did not expect.
No, that one, yeah.
I'm impressed. You're gonna start. There's a lot of CW coming your way. You're gonna start seeing a lot of patterns.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear.
Before we go any further, I kind of have to ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
No, I don't have to go to the bathroom. I
Somebody got make potty.
already did that.
What's the question?
When it comes to spoilers with like comic book show vibe type people,
Yeah.
because I don't know. Is like, what's the timeline? What's your statute of limitations?
Like we are approaching the beginning of new seasons. I think we're fine now. Like it's been months since Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl ended. I think we're fine now. I'm sure someone has codified the rules of spoilers and that I'm breaking them. But like frankly, if you're that into the show, you've probably watched it by now. And if you're not that into the show, it's not really a spoiler.
I think my general rule for movies is 3 months.
I think we're safe then. I think
But
those shows ended in like
The
May,
reality
so we should be
is
fine.
This whole
90 days.
This whole issue is going to be
Call it 90 days.
all about trailers and news.
Yeah, if we've already ruined things for you, you might want to skip this.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, you'll start to notice that all of the first halves of all of our episodes are news.
Yeah.
So just skip all those if you're worried about me.
yeah, that's true
Or
too.
if you hate the news.
All right.
That's true. Let's keep it going.
Arrow season 6 trailer.
Have you watched any Arrow?
Oh, naturally, yeah. Of course, I watched all. No, I haven't watched any of it. And
Have you like walked in a room when someone was watching it?
I don't think you guys.
And they said they quickly closed their computer, said, "It's not what it looks like. Get out of here, Mom! No."
Yeah, no.
Was that fucking Deadshot?
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Sorry, I always mix up those two.
Deadshot in the CW is dead. He got blown up.
Whoa.
But Colin, thoughts?
To be honest, just kind of like pass.
So part of what's weird about the Arrow season 6 trailer is that like 3/4 to 4/5 of it is just the
Groups
season.
of people running?
No, it's the season 5 finale.
Oh, really?
Most of that trailer happened.
Oh.
Everything on that island with him freeing Deathstroke and like the Nyssa versus Talia al Ghul fight and Black Canary versus Black Siren and like Chase kills himself, which sets off the explosion on the island. That's the end of season 5.
It's like kid's mom dies on the island, I'm guessing.
Well, the
So
cliffhanger at the end of season 5 is that Chase kills himself and the island explodes and everyone but Oliver and his son is still on the island.
Was his like sister and stuff?
Yeah, like Thea, Felicity. I think.
That's his kid?
Yeah, the one that he was rescuing.
Okay. Because the whole like thing didn't seem like it was his kid.
Well,
Like,
because
the
he's
interaction, you know what I mean?
Because he's barely been that kid's father.
Well, who's the mother?
It's basically like this girl from his past that his rich mother like paid to go away.
Of course.
It's one of those kind of things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
he didn't know and blah blah blah.
I had such a hard time with this show. I watched the first like 3 episodes, I think maybe 3 times, and I just couldn't get past it. It's such a soap opera in the first season. Like
it's still such a soap
Apparently in
opera.
the 5th season too.
yeah, exactly.
Arrow's
It's like exploding Lost.
Arrow came out of the idea that like the way that Christopher Nolan did Batman was the way to do superheroes. So the first season is like this very grimy, like street level Green Arrow adaptation. Season 2, they were like, that's no fun. And they introduced this thing called Mirakuru, which basically was like a super steroid, so that they started introducing superpowers. And then they sort of backdoor piloted the Flash through Arrow.
Yes.
He shows up for a couple of episodes in season 2. And then season 3 went with like Ra's al Ghul and like the League of Assassins.
Because if you're DC, Ra's al Ghul's got to show up at some point.
Season 4 was like magic. Constantine was on it, and Damien Dark was the bad guy. And like Arrow actually like uses magic in that season.
That's pretty ridiculous.
And then season 5, they were like, no, let's go like back to the roots when the show was like soap opera-y or not, was like good. And so Prometheus was this very like kind of grounded, real life sort of bad guy that just had a vendetta against the Green Arrow.
That was another Arrow-y guy.
Yeah.
Have you been keeping up with this as well?
No, I stopped watching partway through season 4.
You put in the college try.
I watched. I came in at season 2 and I watched it because I knew the Flash was going to be on it, or Barry Allen rather, because he's not the Flash yet. But
Yes.
and then I sort of backed up and I watched everything leading up to that, and then I watched all the way through to most of the way through season 4, and I just didn't like it. Basically, is what happened. I've heard that season 5 is actually much more interesting to watch. And if you've listened to previous episodes of the podcast, season 5 is where you get to see Ragman.
Oh, that's right.
He's part of the team at the beginning of season 5. So
And then they realize he's way too powerful.
way too powerful. And they're like, you can leave now. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I probably won't watch season 6 of Arrow because I'll have to watch other things to catch up. Because I'm a completionist that way. If I'm going to watch it, I need to know it.
I'm a little slow to jump in here, but would you say they hung him out to dry?
Ragman?
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I would.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I think for Colin and I, yeah.
That's a hard pass.
Yeah.
And whenever people say hard pass, I'm like, is it hard for you to pass on it? Or is it like...
No, I think it's like it's a hard.
Oh, definitely a pass.
Yeah.
It's just the way it sounds. It's
Like a gallstone.
Yes, it's hard to pass.
Yeah.
All right.
stays.
What's next on the docket?
Supergirl season 3 trailer.
All right.
Oh,
let's do it.
Lots to talk about here.
Ouch. No.
All right.
So it just kind of looks like a Superman version of like a TV show.
What's Supergirl?
Yeah.
No,
It's like a female version of like
No,
Superman,
no.
but
What
like
would you call that?
I just mean like it should be super.
What would you call a
lady.
younger female version of Superman?
It should be called Supermam.
yeah. Oh, fucking nothing happened in that goddamn trailer.
If you want to see a trailer that's a lot of shots of people staring at the middle distance, watch the Supergirl
this is
season
the
3
most
trailer.
of that.
Okay, I just want to point something out. The Supermam thing, the whole like she takes her glasses off. Like, do they not know who she really is?
Oh,
because
God,
of
this
the
is-
glasses?
Wow, you really don't read comics.
I the one thing that I know about like Superman is that he like has a Jerry curl and he wears glasses, and then
Wow. Okay, so you know comics just from like the 1950s.
I also wouldn't call it a Jerry curl. I think it's called a spit curl.
whatever, same shit, different pile. It's a curl. It's a Richard curl, we'll call it.
So there are only
Superman.
to me maybe 2 big points of interest in the Supergirl show.
The Gatling gun in the back of the
Sorry, in this trailer specifically. Yeah. There's a cool action sequence with a Gatling gun on the back of the truck. We don't see it do anything, so we don't know if that's an interesting scene or not.
It jammed.
But, yeah.
It's actually a t-shirt gun.
Oh no. Yeah.
It's a t-shirt gun. You're just
A
like,
t-shirt gun.
oh, Smash Mouth, sweet.
Oh no.
Somebody.
But we do see our first look at Erica Durance as Allura Zor-El, which is Supergirl's mother. Erica Durance played Lois Lane on Smallville.
That's right. I did.
So that's our first shot of that, which is neat. And then, you know what actually like kind of irks me about this? There's not a single Martian Manhunter shot.
No, and he was like the only good thing about that damn show.
I really desperately want to like Supergirl because I think she's well cast and I think she performs it very well, and I really like her. But they repeatedly make the mistake on this show of writing either that she like needs like a guy's help to get the job done, like Martian Manhunter or Superman.
That first season.
Or they write it that like, yeah, she does it all herself, but like she'll be in the middle of the fight and she'll be like, do I like Jimmy or not? Like write her as an actual character.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like just.
Well, to be fair, the whole Superman Lois Lane thing, he's always like, oh boy, I sure do like her a lot.
But he at least got to save her constantly.
But like Soup's in the middle of the fight doesn't go like...
Could you imagine her saving some, like Jay Baruchel or something as her boyfriend?
Oh, no.
He's just like, I'm being pervy and weird. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it just... The Supergirl show bothers me because they haven't written her properly, in my opinion. There are lots of interesting things in that show. The fact that Martian Manhunter's in there, and that was a real cool twist in the first season.
That was the only
because they set up Hank Henshaw, who in the comics is Cyborg Superman, and you'd see the red eye glow, and you'd be like, he's gonna be Cyborg Superman, and then they like faked you out, and they were like, no, like Hank Henshaw's dead. This is the Martian Manhunter disguised as Hank Henshaw, and that was like a cool reveal, and he's a great character. And yeah, the Superman played by what's his name, Tyler Hoechlin, I think. He was really good and well cast, but it's not Superman. Like it's Supergirl. Like let her do the heavy lifting and don't have her do it in the middle of like a love triangle. Just for once, just let her be a cool superhero.
Amen.
Right?
I just felt like that trailer was very safe. Like it didn't.
It was nothing. There was.
I feel like they haven't finished the CGI shots.
I think they haven't finished half the episode.
Or that, yeah. All right.
Also, it's good to see that she also has laser beam eyes, so that's how she keeps her legs shaved.
I'm glad that this podcast is doing something.
We did it.
Little retcon.
Hashtag
as they call
laser
it.
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
As they call it, back to Superman shaving his beard.
All right. What's next?
CW sizzle reel gives center stage to Black Lightning.
Let's do it.
Black
I feel like we almost should have... Colin.
So also, I'll start by saying that the original news that came out about this specific clip was that it was a CW sizzle reel, and now suddenly it's been just called the Black Lightning trailer.
Yeah, which I mean, it's still a sizzle reel because like the front half of it is all clips from the other shows.
It's just a nerd version of Slam Dunk sports reel. That's all that was. That was just like over the top, like fast action, like this hero, bam, 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 next hero.
I don't get the whole.
I mean, that is why they call it a sizzle reel, though, right? Like they're trying to show you the best bits.
I don't get the whole animated part of it too.
So there is. CW Seed is where they do these animated ones, and that's how they introduced the character of Vixen.
Yes.
So there was like a 6-episode animated thing that takes place in that universe, and then like Grant Gustin voiced the Flash and Stephen Amell voiced Arrow. So it takes place in that, but it was an animated miniseries,
which I think is interesting because I mean we'll talk about it a little bit later, but they don't even show Freedom Fighters in that, which is a CW.
No, yeah, that's true. Maybe they just wanted to make it its own thing or keep the focus on Black Lightning as the new thing. Or
Black Lightning!
Yeah. So we did see a few clips of Black Lightning.
I like the Black Lightning character.
I wish that... Is it bad that I can just say I wish Netflix was doing it? Because it feels like it's going to be over the top and can't be.
Do you know what? There are a lot of parallels to draw between Black Lightning and Daredevil in terms of like the arc of the character and like where they come from. And so wanting that, I think is natural because there are a lot of similarities.
I feel like Netflix does a really good job so far of like kind of the trailers or whatever I've seen of like superhero stuff. They go very dark. Like for the stuff that
Yeah.
they do on their own.
For
like,
Netflix shows with Marvel,
it is
they
a
do,
little,
yeah.
it is a little campy, but it's also like super dark.
Yeah, I mean, the Netflix Marvel shows have gone like right to that kind of gritty, grimy place that the movies don't go. Yeah, DC has done the opposite, where their movies are very like dark and brooding, and their TV shows have more fun.
Super bubblegum.
Arrow doesn't, but like
it started to more, though it seems
more. But like Flash and Legends of Tomorrow are a ton of fun, and Supergirl's fun when it's not infuriating.
The only time I ever liked Supergirl was when the Flash was in it.
Well, yeah, and they do those crossover episodes too. But at any rate, that's our first little glimpse of Black Lightning.
What's he like as a character in the comics? Because I actually had never heard of him.
He's great because he's his
Besides when the other episodes we
his
talked
secret
about him.
identity is like he's an educator. He's a teacher and later a principal. He's a guy that
Does
wants.
he work in the inner city?
We talked about this. He works in the suicide slum, which
that's
is the
right.
area of Metropolis that Superman has apparently forsaken.
They don't believe in the PTA. He's not going to get behind.
So Jefferson Pierce is this guy that just like wants to help his neighborhood and his community. If this is sounding like Matt Murdock in Hell's Kitchen, they are very similar.
I feel like if you put high after his name, that would be a high school in the inner city that he worked in.
Black Lightning High.
No, Jefferson Pierce High.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's a great character because he's very caring, very like empathetic, and it's neat to see someone like that driven to the point of basically violence, right? Like, yeah, he's a superhero, he's saving people, but he's also like beating the shit out of this gang, and he wants the guy at the top, who is Tobias Whale. But yeah, so like that, this is like a good, kind man driven to the point of violence, which is, I think there's a lot of like interesting storytelling there. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
All right, I'll probably not see it at some point.
Unless we make you.
All right.
We'll talk about it for sure, though. I can count on that.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
I can put the Colin Close guarantee on that one. The Krypton premiere trailer. Is this a movie, a TV show?
We talked about this. We
It's a
talked
TV
about
show.
this. This is the TV show with Superman's grandfather.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's watch that.
Super Gramps.
So it's just going to be him just like hanging out in a wheelchair or like at an old folks' home, and Superman swings by and he like brings him cake or something.
It's just him like, you think Superman knows his
I
family?
hope so. Oh, that's a bummer.
Baby sent to Earth.
Oh, right, that thing.
Tell me how you feel, Colin.
You know when you're sitting in a restaurant and you order food,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, it's kind of been a while. And then you like see the waiter walk by with like a little like, what's that thing called? Tray? Your server's
You
tray?
just call it a tray, yeah.
Okay. And it's got food on it that looks like something that you ordered. And he just like strolls right by your table and you get a waft of it. And you're like, oh, yeah, I know what that's going to taste like. I'm happy I ordered that. And then he walks by your table and gives it to another table. That's what that trailer did to me.
Wow. I mean, there's not a lot in that trailer, but we have talked about this before, and since we talked about that, some developments have come out that I do want to talk about. So the original idea, and I've said this on the podcast, was that this show was going to take place in the DCEU. This was going to be like connected to the movies. This was the official history of Krypton. Since that time, apparently it no longer is. But you can see the remnants, like the design of Krypton is very Zack Snyder, very like DCEU. Even with like those like the key things that work all their computers. Yeah. But what I have learned about this, and you expressed concern that the show wouldn't last long unless they did something to connect it to Earth.
Yeah.
So what I've learned is that
You've been listening.
Two heroes from the future and Earth show up on Krypton. It's Adam Strange and Hawkwoman.
You've talked about both those characters.
And basically they show up because there's some sort of plot where someone is using time travel to stop the creation of Superman. And they go to the past to Krypton to make sure Superman will eventually be born and sent to Earth.
Wow.
So they
And
blow
I'm
up Krypton?
instantly way more interested.
Really?
Oh my god, Adam Strange and Hawkwoman in a Terminator movie, basically. Like that sounds awesome.
Back to the Future.
That's true. No, it's a little Terminator-y. They could be like, Segel, come with me if you want to live. Like,
Hasta la vista, Hawkman.
yeah. I'll be Hawk.
Oh, you win.
Let's move on.
You get the award.
Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters?
You're done with Krypton, eh?
I'm done with it.
Wow. Okay.
I'm if you're gonna do a trailer, do a trailer. Like, don't.
It's a teaser. It was a
No.
In fairness, there is a trailer. This just wasn't.
Well, why the hell didn't we watch that? You guys
Because
came and sat on the couch and we put.
This is the San Diego Comic-Con recap. This is what happened.
Okay, so
This is what happened.
Yeah.
what are we, the Kennedys now? Stop it. No, I
Chowda.
Chowda. Hey, Frenchie. Say chowda. No, why didn't they? People paid good money probably to travel to go to San Diego.
Not to see the trailer, though.
Not
No, but
specifically
that was
for that.
there. Well, you know what? Maybe there were people that were there specifically. They're like, oh, this is on my list of things.
Okay,
that I
but what
have
if
to
the difference
see.
You think someone is interested in the Krypton TV show, but not anything else to do
That's
with
not what
comic
I'm
books?
saying. I'm saying, like, if you go to Disneyland and one of the rides is shut down.
Yeah, but I don't go to Disneyland for Splash Mountain.
Yes, you do. Yes, you fucking do. Don't lie to me. Splash Mountain's the shit.
It's about the teacups. Fuck off.
Let's move on.
Let's fast.
Okay.
Freedom Fighters.
Is that the full title?
The Ray trailer? Come on. Who's
Freedom Fighters, The Ray
trailer.
Thoughts?
I'm just processing. So, at the beginning of this trailer, my thought process was like, had the Nazis won World War II,
Right.
most of these superheroes aren't going to be like, yay, pro America. Like, that wouldn't be a thing. And so I was like, I hope they don't go in that direction with it. And then they did for a second, and then they stopped. And there was like the other side. So you got like the Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, like as like not like Nazis. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there are gonna be some mad people.
So this is based on
people are gonna be pissed.
actual comic books. So the Ray, who's the primary hero of this show, is an actual comic book character. He is from Earth X or Earth 10, and that is a world where the Nazis win. But in the comics, part of the reason that they win is that Kal-El crash lands in like occupied Czechoslovakia, not in Kansas. And he becomes
we're not in Kansas
He
anymore.
becomes like a tool of the Reich. He's known as Overman. In the comics, you also have like basically the new Reichsmen are the Nazi Justice League. There's Blitzen is the Flash. Brunhilde is Wonder Woman. Leatherwing is Batman. Underwater Man is Aquaman. And then part of it too is that in this show is obviously not all of those characters exist established in the CW verse, but we do have, like you said, is Supergirl and Arrow and Flash, and they are straight up Nazis in this
Supergirl
trailer.
makes sense though. She's super Aryan.
Well, yeah, Overgirl. I wonder if they're actually going to call her Overgirl or call the Flash like Blitzen in it, but yeah, it's kind of neat.
I'm not much for cartoons. That's not true. I'm distracted by a dog. So this is much more exciting to me. But it does seem like a cartoon that I would watch. Maybe not the whole thing, but like if there was a couple episodes that were particularly quite good.
If it's anything like the Vixen one, it's probably only 6 episodes.
For me, it depends how Nazi-ish they get.
Well, I wonder if because he takes Red Tornado's like brain.
Yeah.
Red Tornado's an android for those who are concerned. The Ray takes the brain. I wonder if maybe he escapes to like the main CW Earth, like to Earth 1, and then the premise is
him?
that the Flash and Arrow have to help him against Nazi Flash and Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next?
What's next is a kind of a question, I guess.
Sure.
Not from a listener, but just kind of like,
I don't think it is. I think there's one more trailer.
is there one more trailer? Oh my God, there's one more trailer.
And it's the big one.
It's the big one.
That's
Let's
right.
do it.
Yeah.
Justice League. Comic-Con. Sneak peek. Worldwide. San Diego. Comic-Con.
Yo.
What do you think?
Thoughts?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You're playing that very understated.
Really? Like, what did you liked it?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the not so good, and then I'm gonna,
Okay. Sure, let's do it like that. Yeah.
Okay. Didn't care for the casting of Alfred.
What?
It's a very different Alfred. So if you're not prepared for that,
Did you not see Batman
looks-
versus Superman?
No, I didn't.
of course he didn't.
He seems too young. Am I wrong about that? Like, he doesn't seem like
Actually, an old man, that actor.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons is probably almost
he
70.
aged fucking incredibly because
Oh yeah. No,
he's a beautiful man.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
I'm
He's
sorry, but
handsome
like
as fuck.
Ben Affleck and Christian Bale, roughly the same fucking age. Michael Caine, this dude, not in the same league.
Well, no, but Ben Affleck is meant to be playing an older Batman than Christian
Why
Bale
did he
was.
get a young ass Alfred?
Yeah, fine. That seems to be a relatively minor quibble in the Justice League movie is the age of Alfred.
Okay, did Superman? Okay, so who killed Superman?
Doomsday at the end of Batman versus Superman.
I would have thought Batman would have gone.
No.
It's the V part.
Jeremy Irons is also 68 years old.
Yeah.
How old is Michael Caine?
Probably 75.
Probably like 100.
Okay, keep going though.
So, I love that Wonder Woman just like breezes off that bullet like she's in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Just like meh. Her face too. The whole time is very like cavalier. Like
She's 84. He's 84, by the way.
she like looks away and kind of at the camera as though she's like, oh, is that Beth? Oh, hey Beth. Oh, there's a bullet.
She is very blasé about that,
She's,
that
like,
bullet,
nonchalant
which
about
is
it.
kind of awesome.
The opening is very like Heath Ledger, Dark Knight walking into the bank vibe though.
It has a similar kind of
Yeah.
aesthetic. Even like the look of it is very much like that bank heist.
Yeah, very cool. Obviously Aquaman. We don't need to talk about this. We gush over this dude all the time.
Oh, Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa's Mimosa Samosas.
I'd eat those.
He's so that's
so cool.
Where he rides that parademon that he's killed down through a building is kind of amazing.
and it just kind of like walks out.
he does a hair flip when he comes out of the building. Yeah.
What else was he gonna do?
Well, that's true.
He had hair in his eyes. He had to get it out.
Other thoughts? I have a couple of things that I really want to talk about in this thing, but I want
Though I don't
your
care for
kind
the
of thoughts
casting of
first.
Alfred, I like the fact that he's working on a car at the end and like looks up nonchalantly. Though it could be to like the ambiance in that scene is like, oh shit, it's a bad guy. Oh shit, it's a bad guy. But I don't think it is.
No, probably not.
But the way that he handles it is very like, oh, he said you'd be coming. Like as though there's like, oh, someone's gonna stop by and like maybe take a look at the car.
We'll talk about that.
we will get to that because that's one
Who
of the
is
things I
it?
want. Well, that's one of the things I want to talk about.
We'll get there.
But I just want to make sure there's like nothing else from that trailer you want to say first, because basically once I start, you can't stop me.
yeah. Okay, you don't know any of the Justice League characters. What do you think?
Is there like, are there things you're confused about? Like, do you
Well, I know like the commissioner guy. He's the one with the lighty business in the sky.
the bat signal? Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. He was at one time. I feel like he looks like the editor from the Daily Bugle.
well,
He
it's
is.
funny that you say that. Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's hilarious.
He is. It's
He's
JK.
an actor.
It's
Like
JK.
whiskey.
It's JK Simmons.
Like,
Yeah.
mustache and-
because he was born to play that role.
Yeah.
and so anything else that he does, he always
It's
looks
true.
like
What else has that guy been in?
Everything.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Everything. Always.
the drumming movie.
Oh, he was in Whiplash.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's the guy.
bad guy.
He's so good.
Yeah,
That guy's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in
he's
it.
real good.
He's like replacing John Malkovich. Right? That'd be no, that's the fucking
The
move.
two of them together,
Replacing John Malkovich.
bald versus bald, mustache versus no mustache.
Good strong voice versus sarcastic asshole. We'll never tell you which is
Being
which.
J.K. Malkovich.
No, I think it looks kind of cool. I might actually see that.
Whoa. Okay.
That's a big. That's a
Hold
big
on.
get.
Let me just.
He said
finish.
might, even if he doesn't, this is a get.
yeah.
Not in. I probably won't go to see it in the theater because a lot of the time,
Whatever.
That's fine.
I'll probably wait till like either it comes out on DVD and
The doctor.
it's like you've got to see it. It's amazing. I bought 6 copies for all of my
You
friends.
did it again, bud.
I did what again? Oh yeah,
You revealed my secret identity again. We're gonna have to bleep that one.
Yep.
we should just get a thing that's like, but it's like the Doctor.
But yeah, basically. But the fact that you're interested in seeing it, I consider that a get. Now, I want to talk about some things, and I'll explain some stuff as I go, because maybe it'll make you want to watch the movie more.
Let's do this.
So,
The Doctor's about to drop some knowledge.
so
Go from the beginning to the fun part.
Worldwide.
we see Wonder Woman break up this whatever hostage situation. I believe that this is what is sort of teased at the end of Wonder Woman, that she's responding to this, and then the very end scene of Wonder Woman feeds into Justice League. And that's just to set up that she's an active hero when there isn't a world-ending crisis.
Yeah.
And then
Also works at a museum.
And then we see all of these shots and these voiceovers about how the world is reeling from the death of Superman, and like, where has Batman gone?
And some
like,
interesting words that they ever said.
the world is very it's kind of on eggshells. There's a lot of tension. And then we get like Diana and Bruce talking, and they basically set up that they have to put a team together. And then we get a shot of Themyscira, which is Paradise Island where Wonder Woman comes from. And there in the middle of Themyscira is a mother box, which is a piece of New Gods technology.
Like the Marvel's...
It's not like the Cosmic Cube.
No.
No, it's not.
It's not. What about those little gem things that everybody's...
It's not like an Infinity Stone.
Okay.
So this mother box is a piece of New Gods technology, and it's being held here in Themyscira. And we see our first ever DC Universe boom tube opens, and Steppenwolf falls through it. Steppenwolf is the main villain of the Justice League movie, voiced by Kieran Hines. And then we get this sort of montage with a Kieran Hines voiceover where he says there are no protectors, no lanterns. The first reference to the Green Lanterns and the Green Lantern Corps. So when he says no lanterns, we can assume that maybe at this point, Earth's Green Lanterns are either not lanterns yet, or they're otherwise occupied somewhere else
Earth
in the
only
universe.
have one lantern.
No, Earth has tons.
Really?
Yeah. And in the Green Lantern Corps movie, they've already confirmed that it's going to be Hal and Jon Stewart as Green Lanterns.
That was something we were supposed to talk about.
Well, we just did.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's happening.
So he says no lanterns. That's a huge little sort of nudge there. And then he says this world will fall just like all the others, because he's Darkseid's main general.
So do you think there's going to be a Green Lantern in this? Because he talks about how many...
Well, if we want to talk about what Colin was talking about, that bit with Alfred at the end of the trailer...
Because I see a bit of red, so it makes you think it's going to be Superman.
You actually don't.
You see, there's a little touch of red.
I do you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. See, what people online are convinced that you can see a reflection of green in Alfred's glasses, which I'm not convinced of. There are three kind of frontline theories for me about who Alfred is talking to in that scene. The one that would make maybe the most story sense and possibly be the most boring one would be Superman. Superman has been resurrected, and as Batman maybe thinks that he would be. And he shows up, and then Alfred says, let's just hope it's not too late. And then Superman goes and joins the Justice League.
He's like got a tan now, though, because he was on vacation.
Yeah, or a mustache. So it could be that. It could be Green Lantern. Maybe a Green Lantern shows up, because they get the call that like Earth as a whole is under attack or something like that. The third, it could be Mira, Aquaman's wife, who's also like a powerful, like aquakinetic. She's an extremely powerful character. We know she's in the movie. It could be her, and that would be really neat too. But to me, it's probably one of those three. And frankly, I'm cool with any of those options.
Look at this.
Actually, get the
Okay,
door.
what am I looking?
It's Domino's.
Look at the Look at where he's supposed to be. That's red. That looks like a red cape.
Ish, but this is very like.
Let's see.
But look in his glasses.
determining.
Look in his glasses. Tell me that's not a reflection of green.
It's like there's green to the left, and then if you look in the right, It's red and blue.
Well, maybe. Oh my God! If it's both, if it's Superman and Green Lantern, I'll lose my mind.
They just say
We'll just have to wait and see. I'm going to be happy no matter what it is, but I'm very.
it's fun to speculate.
It's
very,
actually it's
excited.
Godzilla.
It's actually like a the
1999
Fly
Godzilla.
situation where Green Lantern and Superman get morphed into one.
There's but yeah, I mean, otherwise the trailer is lots of big action shots. There's a cool bit where we get to see a little bit of Cyborg's powers, where he takes over that Batbot.
Oh God, with the like dead cold like personality, with like taking like that was so rad. Because like to be honest, the look of Cyborg, I just he's boring to me.
Sure.
It just feels very like cartoony in a world that's not as cartoony, but like suddenly he has that like robotic like tone to his voice, and he like is just like,
It's okay, Alfred.
yeah,
I'll take it from here.
it was cool. That
There's
won
some
me
great
over.
Alfred lines. Alfred says like, "Excuse me, do I know you?" to that one, and then
Yeah.
he also has a line where he says, "One misses the days where one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins," which I think is hilarious.
Great.
But-
Oh, and a good callback to like the original Batman movie. And
Oh, totally. So that I'm obviously very excited for this movie. It comes out in November. I'm definitely going to be there every night until it's not in the cinema anymore.
I really didn't like Batman versus Superman, and I haven't liked a lot of the DC movies over the last few. I know you're gonna throw a beer in my face, but I honestly I haven't liked it ever since like the last Christian Bale Batman movie. Kind of everything, like a lot of the TV and movie, I couldn't get behind. I didn't like Suicide Squad.
That's fair.
But like I just like none of them really got me that excited, and like I was tentatively excited about this when I started seeing the teaser stuff, and now I'm like full-fledged excited for this, and like I haven't been this excited for a Batman thing since Christian Bale, and that's
It's going to be big. The rumor is that like the running time might be about 3 hours.
it's kind of crazy that like Marvel is considered like the top like superhero franchise, and yet all the DC movies have been the most financially successful.
Yeah, but you could also possibly make the argument that they're riding on the established audience that's been built by Marvel.
I mean,
But like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that Marvel versus DC thing, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If you're a fan of comic books, this is a great time to be alive,
They're
because
both
they are
comic
putting
books, yeah.
all of the money in the world into bringing those things to life. So yeah, I'm stoked.
You're all done?
Yeah, yeah,
That was a lot shorter winded than I thought it was going to be.
yeah. Well, you know, we still have a lot to talk about.
You even let Richard say a couple things. So Jeff Johns reveals Batgirl production starts in 2018.
Yeah, so the Batgirl movie is going into production. We also talked about on an actual like non-news episode that Shazam is also going into production in 2018. So, yeah, the Batgirl one I'm excited for because we have no info. I mean, not like we have a ton of info on Shazam.
we have Joss Whedon.
but we still basically know nothing.
We don't
Like,
even know what level Joss Whedon's even going to be part
we
of it.
don't know when this movie is yet. I don't think. Like, does
Within
this
the
movie,
timeline?
Well, what I was going to say is that Batgirl at a certain point is crippled by the Joker and becomes Oracle. She's
That's right.
paralyzed.
Barbara Gordon, right?
So is this a Batgirl movie in a world where that never happened to her, or is this a Batgirl movie that's set like years earlier before that happened to her,
Or years after.
or years after?
And she's hanging on a
Because if you follow the comics, she does eventually get like a experimental surgery that lets her walk again. So we don't know when it is. I'm a little bit curious as to
Feels
maybe
like
it
it's
being
going to be
like
an origin thing. It's very.
yeah. I mean, it might be. I'm sort of tired of origin stories. I kind of understand it if you don't know the characters, but at the same time, you can also suspend your disbelief a little bit and just be like, no, this character exists, and I just want to see them on an adventure.
I get that, but I feel like you can do that with like Batman and Spider-Man. But I feel like when you start bringing in new characters who the general populace have no understanding of, they're just like, oh, so you just wanted to make a female Batman? I get it. Not understanding that there's been this rich history.
Yeah, possibly. But if I'll maybe draw like a weird comparison here. If you take something like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it was an origin.
You're witnessing the origin of the team.
Not
and a
of Peter
little
Quill.
bit of Peter Quill, but not really anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think because Batgirl obviously takes place in Gotham, you have some of those other established characters. It's not, you can get away with her just being there, and you kind of hint at the origin, or especially with her relationship to Commissioner Gordon. You know, you can build those things in without necessarily like showing her like looking at the window and be like, oh, Batman, oh, it'd be great to be like him, and then like doing it.
But how much would you pay to see a Rocket Raccoon Groot origin story? It'd be really good.
It's nah.
He's created.
No.
Anyways,
but,
sorry, this is Marvel.
Well, all I'll say about that is that to me reeks of the Minions movie. Like, they're great, but not as the subject of the movie.
That's true.
At any rate, yeah, so Batgirl's going into production. I'm looking forward to hearing more news as it comes, but like as it stands right now, there's not too much to talk about.
Have you heard about what happened to Joss Whedon's script that got leaked for Wonder Woman?
Yes.
So that has created some people's concern about Batgirl.
Yep.
What do you have thought?
I don't think that's an unfounded concern.
So for people who don't know, somebody got Joss Whedon's original script for Wonder Woman, which he had written, I think,
like years
ago.
Forever
I think
ago.
post Buffy, but still a long time ago.
Long before the DC.
Yes, absolutely. And basically, I haven't read it myself, but from what I've heard is there's some like issues with feminism, and it's not really great for a female character, even though this is a man who created Buffy, which, I mean, wonderful feminist character. People got it and basically just like live tweeted insulting the entire thing and reading it out.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's not to say that those criticisms are wrong either, because they're not. But do we judge someone's whole career on one thing that didn't get made?
Or look at like the...
But, I mean, are there reasons to be concerned? Like, yeah, a little bit. Like, does Black Widow have that much to do in the Avengers? And then they just like shoehorn in a romance with Bruce Banner in the second one. Like, that doesn't really make sense. Does her character need that?
Exactly. No, absolutely. And
it's not an unfounded concern. I don't want to spend my days like worrying about it though. Like, if the movie comes out and those things are in there, I'll be upset about it. But am I going to be like, oh my God, is it going to turn out okay? Like, probably not. I'll just wait for the movie.
I mean, there's something to be said with having Wonder Woman be as successful as it is, bringing in a female writer and director. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
was it a success based on those two elements, though? Or was it a success based on the fact that it was just a very well-written movie that was well delivered?
I just think that part of it is that, like, some of those issues with feminism, again, it's not like mustache-twirling guys being like, how can we, like, mess up this female character? It's just like, we just have the wrong gaze.
Yeah.
We have the wrong perspective to like really tell that story. I don't want to say that it's impossible, because it's not, and I don't want to say we can't do it, because we can. But
the men have had it too hard for too long.
But those like tropes or those things are easy to lean on, and we as men don't necessarily see that we're doing it. Women do. So when you have women in those creative roles, they catch those moments where you're leaning on old tropes and you can subvert them. And I think that's what it is. So, I mean, you're right, Colin. Like, that script is great. Wonder Woman was a great movie, and Patty Jenkins is just a great director. But part of it too is that they can catch those things because they're looking for it, and they have a better perspective on that than we do.
Fair enough, but like, are there no women on, writing teams, directing teams that are out there doing these films?
Probably, unfortunately, fewer than you'd want there to be.
Because, and I can be shot down as completely ignorant about this, but when I go to see a film, most of the time, I'm not wondering, oh boy, I wonder who directed this. I'm really concerned about who the writer was. Like, I don't really care. I'm there to see if it's a good movie or if it's a shit movie.
Yeah.
One or the other.
No, I know. And I'm not saying for you to do anything different as a consumer of movies, but if you're making it.
Yeah.
Like, you did you see Wonder Woman?
No.
Okay, but I mean, like
But it grossed the hell out of the box office, and everybody went to go see it who wasn't me. So
I saw Wonder Woman, and I
something.
loved it. Of course I did, because it's a great movie.
Did you like it because a woman wrote it and directed it?
But that's my point. I don't
you
have
liked
to.
it because it was a good movie.
But did women also like it because a woman directed, wrote and directed it? Like, maybe. And if it doesn't affect my viewing, but it lets other people have more enjoyment in it, then you should do that thing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't affect me. I'm
Also,
going to watch
like-
those movies anyway. But if it means that you finally can see a movie where a woman's not just like doughy-eyed over a guy, or she's being like
Saved or
tortured
whatever.
because the hero needs like something to fight against, then absolutely always do that.
Yeah.
Like that's a no-brainer to me.
It's just tough to tell a female perspective sometimes as a man. And
100%.
And I feel like I don't care if a female is brought in, but if that's going to help tell a female story, then of course,
Absolutely,
that's what I want.
Absolutely do it. Yeah,
Let's keep this train rolling.
let's do it.
Flashpoint is coming to the DCEU. Flashpoint goes to Europe.
So we have talked about Flashpoint
Flashpoint does Dallas.
a lot on the podcast. I just want to quick throw it to Colin and see if any of it has like seeped in. Flashpoint, is that ringing any bells? I've talked about it in at least 4 episodes.
It's a point. There's some flashes. Pew, pew, pew.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So Flashpoint refers to when Barry goes back in time to save his mother from being
Oh
killed.
yeah, but then he like does some other shit.
It destroys reality basically, and it creates this world where Aquaman and the Atlanteans are at war with Wonder Woman and the Themyscirans and the Amazons.
That's definitely one of the
And-
results.
It's the biggest result
Well, but,
because
I mean-
their war is tearing the world apart.
Not on the Flash TV show.
No. The Flash TV show did like a very watered down Flashpoint. It was like, oh, there's just you have powers. Like that was it. But in actual Flashpoint, it like ends the world. And they just announced that the Flash solo movie is going to be Flashpoint. So lots to unpack here. It means if they're faithful to the comics, it means you're going to see like Emperor Aquaman, like a warmongery dictator, Jason Momoa, versus a bloodthirsty Diana. And that's going to be crazy in and of itself.
Oh, those two are making a
Cyborg,
baby.
who is established now in this Justice League movie, will be America's greatest hero in the Flashpoint universe, and he's trying to bring people together to stop this war and save the world. You're going to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the Batman because Thomas Wayne survives and Bruce Wayne is killed, and he is the angry murder Batman that I talked about back in episode
One we wanted
3.
to see so bad.
And if they are faithful to it, and if they have time in the movie, you may also see Lauren Cohen as Martha Wayne Joker, because that's what happens to her. Bruce Wayne is
I
killed,
want that story so bad.
and she goes insane and becomes the Joker. And then,
Well, we talked about this. Yeah.
spoiler alert, when she later finds out from Thomas Wayne, who learns it from The Flash, that in the real reality, Bruce survived, she kind of snaps out of her insanity. She's almost cured from being the Joker. And she says, like, does he have a happy life? Like, what does he do? And he has to tell her that Bruce is the Batman. And that breaks her and she kills herself. So that movie is coming. If they're faithful to the comics, that shit is coming.
Do you think that that's a possibility?
I do, because actually all of the main players will be set up by then. You'll have Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg. We've already seen Thomas and Martha Wayne. We have the Flash. We'll see Ocean Master, an Aquaman villain by then. We already have a Lex Luthor. We've seen a Lois Lane. Most of the main players, except for a Reverse Flash that you would introduce in that movie, we would have seen already.
Okay, here's the question. Can you even possibly do that in one movie?
Yes.
'Cause that's a lot of different stories.
There's an animated film of it, a Flashpoint Paradox.
And
that's a 90-minute film, and it condenses those comics pretty faithfully.
does it feel fleshed out and like...
Yeah. It's actually, it's a very, very good animated film.
Can I borrow that?
Yeah.
Also,
Oh my God, there's so much Colin liking comics right now.
I'm going to say something that I didn't think I would say.
Okay.
Tell me.
If and only if
Yeah.
Flashpoint gets made into that film,
Right.
oh, you will see my ass in a lineup.
Because you want to see Murder Batman.
I want to see Super Murder Batman. Yes. Evil Mom Joker. Like everything. Go back. If you're starting here, you did it wrong. Go back. Because all along, my most favorite thing is get superpowers. How do you not turn evil?
That's true.
And so like
That is a through line for Colin.
when we were unwrapping the whole like the animated series of if the Nazis won World War II, like it's all right there, you know? I think that's incredible to kind of create this other darker side of it. And DC goes way darker than Marvel goes. So why the fuck is it taking so long to get there? Please make this movie so I can actually give you guys some fucking money to go see a goddamn movie.
DC execs, we know you're always listening. You have Colin. He's on the hook. You just have to
watch them.
You just have to reel him in.
I'm not saying anything against DC people. I'm not saying anything about comic books.
Well, yes, I hope not.
Yes.
The reality is that anytime that you're excited about something good to happen in, TV and film, they usually go ahead and just fuck it up anyways. So here's to hoping they don't.
I'm so excited.
And even if it's, a 2.5 hour movie, I will watch that shit.
Oh yeah.
If it's the Braveheart of superheroes, I'm okay with that.
If it's the Lord of the Rings 2 I will go see that. I will sit there and watch that whole thing. I'll buy 2 bags of popcorn. I will prepare myself.
All right.
Maybe some
you've heard
some
it.
Maltesers.
That's right. Colin's rated this possibility as 2 popcorn bags
and a bag of
out of a
Maltesers.
possible 3 popcorn bags.
And some Maltesers.
Oh my
But
God.
not in the popcorn, just on the side.
Oh,
We're getting
really
way
good.
too
No, I'm not an
specific.
animal. You separate that stuff.
But eat it together.
Well, no, you have the popcorn and then you have the Malteser.
Just
Spending a lot of time on this.
okay.
DC is I guess I don't need to say that. We know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're reinterpreting the death and return of Superman in 2-part animated film.
Yeah, so years ago they did a movie called Superman Doomsday, which is a very loose adaptation of the Death of Superman story, where Doomsday kills Superman and then he eventually comes back to life. I say it's a very loose adaptation because other than the fact that he's killed by Doomsday and comes back to life, nothing else is the same as the comics. What they are making in this 2-part animated series is the full Death and Return of Superman, which I assume includes the reign of the Superman. So in the comics, when Superman dies, 4 basically pretenders to the throne emerge. There's the Cyborg Superman, the Eradicator, Superboy, and Steel. And some of them are good, some of them are evil, and them kind of jockeying to be the new Superman and their own machinations is then sort of all brought to a climax when Superman himself returns to life.
But then he is also in the running to be Superman because Cyborg is winning.
I mean, it's not an election. Like when Superman comes back to life, he's Superman.
I don't know. I feel like if you go away, maybe you move your feet, lose your seat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm interested insofar as seeing that story done a bit more faithfully, but a little bit. I mean, there are better and more interesting stories from the 90s, frankly, that you could turn into an animated film. I would rather see Emerald Twilight, which is when Hal Jordan, he succumbs to fear and is infected by Parallax and goes evil and destroys the Green Lantern Corps. And then he was a villain for a number of years before he eventually sacrificed himself. But I would rather see that. But I mean, obviously, I'm going to see this anyway. Who am I kidding? Right?
You can't help yourself.
Yeah.
It's research. You're a doctor.
That's true.
Ben Affleck debunks rumors of leaving Batman.
Yeah,
and nobody cares.
Ben Affleck basically just said it's the greatest role. Like, I wouldn't leave. There's all of these.
But there was a lot of rumors flying around.
And who knows? Maybe they are true. But I mean, if we're spending all our time just like focusing on the rumors, like, who cares?
I'm going to be Batman next then. Let's start that rumor. Colin Close will be Batman.
Don't get me wrong. I care about these movies. I want them to do well. I want things to make sense and move forward in a logical way. Of course I want that. But let's be honest. None of us can affect this. If they want to get rid of Ben Affleck, they'll get rid of him. If he wants to leave, he'll leave. None of us can stop it. So why get upset about these rumors? It's either going to happen or it won't. If it
Flashpoint
does,
could make it happen.
yeah, and if it does, all I would hope is that they do it in a way that's maybe like narratively consistent. Like maybe Batman just retires
Flashpoint could.
and Dick Grayson becomes Batman. There's your new Batman.
I really
Boom.
like the idea of Flashpoint doing that, though.
Yeah.
Like, because then I'll go see a fucking movie.
And it could be the reason that these rumors started, and part of it is that they're already playing Batman as older. If they do a Batman trilogy, like Matt Reeves has kind of like hinted that he might have an idea for one, like Ben Affleck will be like well into his 50s. Is that a problem? Not really. Like Robert Downey Jr. is over 50, but
Oh, and then do Batman Beyond.
yeah, I'd love to see the Batman Beyond. But I mean, ultimately,
Tom Holland.
Sam Elliott.
where I come down on it is that it doesn't matter what the rumor is. Like, wait until something is confirmed and then be upset about it if you're upset about it. Like, be true to your emotions then. But if it's just rumors, just leave it alone, man. Like, it doesn't matter.
Wise, sage, words of wisdom from our very own Dr. DC.
That's right.
Um,
We can skip the next one.
yeah, we can. Gail Simone bringing Wonder Woman together with Conan. What?
Yeah.
Like the Barbarian?
Like Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah.
Or O'Brien?
I actually missed this.
Yeah.
She's doing like a Wonder Woman Conan
Yep.
series, eh?
Yep.
That's great. I mean, I like these things that sort of take place sort of out of main continuity. Like every once in a while they'll do like a Star Trek Green Lantern crossover.
Are they bringing Arnie back?
or something like that. No, it's not a movie. But oh yeah, geez, look at that. I'm interested in that. I love Gail Simone. I think she's a great writer.
Oh, check it out. It's P. Diddy.
So yeah, I'll read that. I don't really have like a particular
I just thought it
opinion
was
on it
cool.
beyond
Honestly,
that,
I just thought it was really cool.
DC's Young Animal meets the DC Universe in special crossover annuals.
Yeah, so Young Animal is this imprint of DC Comics where basically they publish some of like the weirder titles like Doom Patrol or Cave Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye.
Doom Patrol sounds like an awesome metal band.
Doom Patrol is such a great comic book. It's such a great team. They're like these weird misfit heroes. I've talked about one of them before. Danny the Street was a member of the Doom Patrol.
Never mind. Those guys suck.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
No, Robot Man, Negative Man, Elastigirl,
worst
Robot
names.
Man, Negative Man, Danny the Street.
Danny the Street, Coagula,
These guys are like the worst little league team ever.
Crazy Jane. There's all sorts.
It sounds like guys from like Massachusetts, and like they're all part of like a street gang.
The point of the
Don't
Doom
forget about Crazy Jane.
the point of the Doom
I'll get her.
the Doom Patrol isn't just people with powers. It's not just like a team. It's that they are like outcasts. Like they have either ridiculous powers or their powers are like, or they or themselves are so tragic and so kind of like Robot Man was a stunt driver who gets in this like horrible accident and the only thing that survives is his brain. They just plunk it in this robot body. It's like so sad. He's basically like a prisoner of this robot form now. But yeah, so at any rate, they're doing these crossovers with the Young Animal imprint. It's always been implied that they're part of the same world, but this is just solidifying that, like, yeah, while Superman is over here, like, punching Parasite, over here, like, Robot Man is dealing with the nature of his existence. So,
Okay, that's kind of cool.
and actually, the whole Young Animal imprint is run by Gerard Way,
Yes, that's right.
who writes Doom Patrol, and he was, for those who aren't into comics, the lead singer and like songwriter of My Chemical Romance.
That's right. Oh, by the way, is Umbrella Academy, is that DC?
No, it's not. It's independent, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, that was Gerard Way as well. And Umbrella Academy is terrific.
And now it's becoming a TV show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So cool.
So at any rate, that's something to look forward to. Doom Patrol crossovers. Yeah.
I'm learning so much about comic books.
That's right. Yeah.
Aren't we all? Final versions of Evil Batman revealed today for September, October. Dark Knight's Metal.
Yeah, so in the comics right now, we're building up to the invasion of basically like 6 or 7 versions of the Batman that have kind of
It's
like
so cool looking. I saw it today and I was like, oh damn.
so they're from something that's called the Dark Multiverse, which we haven't seen before, and they're each kind of like a blended version of Batman and something else. So one is called the Drowned, and it's Batman and Aquaman put together, and that one's a woman. One is called the Red Death, and that's Batman and the Flash put together. There's one that's Batman and Doomsday put together. It's really, really cool looking.
Doom Man.
And so Dark Knight's Metal is coming from
How fucking awesome is that?
from
Pretty incredible.
yeah, Scott Snyder, who wrote that incredible run of Batman in the New 52. So they actually like finally revealed like the looks of these different like dark multiverse Batman.
They're so sweet looking.
Yeah, they are. I can't wait for that.
Jeff Johns.
Everybody loves him. Constantly talking.
Yeah.
That's right.
Confirmation of Dr. Manhattan's involvement in Doomsday Clock.
So we talked about this a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of been confirmed the whole time because they haven't been subtle about it. Like, it's been Dr. Manhattan the whole time. But basically, Doomsday Clock is kind of the culmination of what they started in DC Rebirth, which was the idea that the cause, quote unquote, of the New 52 was that Dr. Manhattan had manipulated reality and sort of removed kind of like a chunk of time from continuity. And that's starting to seep back in with Rebirth. And then we've seen all of these hints at Manhattan or like Pandora, who I talked about in the last episode and was kind of like symbolic of the New 52 in the DC Rebirth special. She is exploded in the same way that Rorschach gets exploded at the end of Watchmen. So like Dr. Manhattan has like killed her. So yeah, in Doomsday Clock, where all of these threads come together finally, it's basically the DC universe versus the Watchmen. And they've confirmed a few other things. Like there was talk about they're excited to see DC's smartest man against Watchmen's smartest man. So we know that Ozymandias is going to show up.
Very cool.
He might already have shown up as Mr. Oz, which is a character that's been showing up in Superman a lot. It's this sort of shadowy figure that's been sort of like kidnapping people and placing them in this sort of extra dimensional prison. And then obviously DC's smartest man is Lex Luthor. So seeing them, because they're
He's really the smartest man.
yeah, and so seeing them kind of pitted against each other is interesting because both Ozymandias and Lex Luthor are sort of morally ambiguous. Ozymandias kills millions of people to bring about quote unquote world peace, and Lex Luthor is historically out for himself and basically will save the day if it suits his purpose. So lots to be excited about for Doomsday Clock. It takes place like a year in the future. It's 12 issues. So by the time you finish, the rest of the DC universe will have caught up with it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, you're welcome for the recap.
Yeah. And as
And
promised,
the nightcap.
as promised, we have our own special announcement.
That's right.
You made
Oh.
it this far.
I almost forgot.
I figured you would have.
Oh, no, wait. I did forget.
Yeah. So the big announcement is that we will be doing a live Dr. DC podcast at UComic-Con in Whitehorse, Yukon. So
In August.
at the very end of August, the last weekend of August.
Do we have a date?
The exact date is not hammered down,
TBT.
but UComic-Con is the August 25th to the 27th. We will be in Whitehorse, Yukon, doing a live version of the podcast. We're very excited about this. We get
So
to
cool.
share our love or confusion for DC Comics. And
You guys can bring out your questions.
yeah, bring your questions. Come out. It's going to be a great time. So we're really, really excited about
We
that.
have possible more announcements as we get closer to the date, but this is going to be good.
That's right. So we gave you the recap of San Diego Comic-Con. We ourselves will be at UComic-Con. That's kind of the end of this big special episode, I think.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening if you've gotten this far.
Yeah, that's right.
This is a long one.
That's right. Super special.
Super special.
Very, very special.
Okay.
Well, if you have any questions, you can hit us up on our email account, which is
drdcpodcast@gmail.com.
or on Facebook at,
Dr. DC Podcast
and as always on Twitter.
at Dr. DC.
And if you want to like our pictures on Instagram.
Dr. DC Podcast.
Remember to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes.
And you can, I guess you could Reddit or complain on Google.
Yeah, Reddit has
Yeah, just type a complaint into Google search and see what
Reddit will show up.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Well, some kind of sign off.
Hail Zoltan.
Adios.
Aquaman, all the superheroes. They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and